In continuation with the English literature, we have already completed the section A, reading comprehension, then section B, writing ability, and we started English literature. In English literature also we have completed few parts in English literature, and we use the method of periods of English literature. So if you go with the periods of English literature, then it would be easy for us to complete the English literature. Otherwise it will be too confusing. So we started in the previous class the periods of English literature. So just for a quick revision, I will only read out the periods of English literature. Venkatesh sir, did you attend the class when we explained these periods of English literature?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. So for you, it's a kind of a introduction to the periods of English literature, and for others it's a revision, because except you all have attended those classes. So the technique which we are using to complete the English literature is, according to Kvs syllabus, it starts from Shakespeare. Okay, but it is not that way, or it is not the right way to understand the literature in that sense. So we need to know even the beginning of the literature to the postmodernism, so that you will understand in systematic manner. But examination point of view, when you revise, you can revise only those topics or only those areas which are important for your examination point of view. So the method or the technique which I applied for the previous batch is, we will go with the systematic way. So what is the system? We will start with the periods of English literature, and we will discuss that particular period. And when we discuss that particular period, we discuss the important writers, important works of arts, important literary terms, all those things comes under that particular topic. So the periods of English literature is divided into these many parts. 450 AD to 1066 AD, it is called as Old English literature. 1066 to 1500 AD is known as Middle English literature, and from 1500 to 1660 is known as the Renaissance, and it is also known as Early Modern English literature, or the Early Modern period of English literature. Then this Renaissance is again further divided into 4 parts, and 1558 to 1603 is known as Elizabethan age. 1603 to 1625 is known as Jacobean age. 1625 to 1649 is known as Caroline age. 1649 to 1660 is known as the Commonwealth period or the Puritan interagram. Then from 1660 to 1798 is known as the Neoclassical period, and again this Neoclassical period is divided into few more steps or different parts. 1660 to 1700 is known as the Restoration or Age of Dryden. 1700 to 1745 is known as Age of Pope, the Augustan age. 1745 to 1784 is known as Age of Sensibility or Age of Johnson. Then from 1798 to 1832 is known as Romantic age or Romantic period or Age of Wordsworth, and 1832 to 1901 is known as the Victorian period, and 1901 to 1914 is known as the Edwardian period. It is also known as the Confused period, or the period of confusion. Then from 1914, the First World War, the modern period, and from 1910 to 1936, it is also known as the Georgian period. And from 1945 onwards, whatever the literature is, that comes under post-modernism. So all these periods of English literature we have to discuss in detail, but in examination point of view, the Shakespearean age comes in Elizabethan age and Jacobean age. A little bit these two ages we have to discuss. And we have Romantic period. So only 2-3 periods are important according to examination point of view. But while preparing for the examination, we should have a comprehensive understanding about the entire English literature so that you feel confident. So that is the reason why we start with the period of English literature. And one question, minimum one question will come from the periods of English literature. You must by heart this, you need to remember and you have to recollect in the examination to answer the questions. So we started with the Old English period. Now we are not going with the Old English period. We'll straight away jump into or go to the Shakespearean tragedy. So Shakespeare comes in which age, Diksha?
So in Elizabethan period?
He begins in the Elizabethan period, and even his presence is there in the Jacobean period. Okay, so for a quick revision, we are going to read little Shakespeare so that we will understand, because after so many days you are coming, so I thought of just giving you a quick revision so that we can complete even the Julius Caesar story also. So Shakespeare works, if you see the syllabus of the English literature, the syllabus is Shakespearean works. They have not mentioned what works we have to study. It is just written Shakespearean works. So we'll start with the Shakespeare and we will select important works of Shakespeare which cannot be neglected in any competitive examinations perspective. So Shakespeare is known as the greatest playwright in the world, and he was born on 23rd April 1564 at Stratford upon Avon, Warwickshire, Bard of Avon. He is also known as Bard of Avon, and he died on 23rd April 1616. So he was born on same date and died also on the same day. He was married at the age of 18 to Anne Hathaway. She was 8 years older. And in his life, there are 3 periods are there. The first 20 years he spent in Stratford, next 25 years as an actor and a playwright in London, and last 5 years he retired to the Stanford. Okay, so this is a brief history of Shakespeare. You can read afterwards whenever you find time. And Shakespeare contemporaries are there. They are known as university wits. So these are the university wits. University wits means those who got educated from the university. So there are 2 famous universities, Cambridge, Christopher Marlowe, Robert Greene, Thomas Nash, they are from Cambridge University. John Lilly, Thomas Lodge, George Peele and Thomas Kidd are from Oxford University. And there is a new word coined, people who are from Cambridge and Oxford, if they join together to produce any literary work of art, so it is produced by Oxbridge students. So Oxbridge means Oxford plus Cambridge. If you mix these 2 words, then that new word came. Then we have to understand about the Shakespearean tragedy features, because when you study Shakespearean tragedy like Hamlet, Macbeth or Julius Caesar, if you can understand the skeleton or the sketch of the Shakespearean tragedy, you can apply all the Shakespearean tragedy features and you find out that whether that play is a tragedy or not. So according to Shakespearean tragedy, which is written by A.C. Bradley. A.C. Bradley was a writer who came with the Shakespearean tragedy. In his book, he had coined these features. So what are the features of Shakespearean tragedy? Noble birth. So all the major characters are the protagonist is from the noble family or the noble birth. Example, Julius Caesar. So he is a noble man. He was a king of the Rome. So major characters are from royal families. Julius Caesar example, Rome. And they are tragic heroes. Hamlet is a tragic hero. And third point is heights of glory to depths of degradation. If you observe the major characters in Shakespearean tragedy, they're all noble birth and they are in high positions in the government because of their weakness or because of their problem or because of some kind of folly in their character. They had fallen from that heights of the glory, respect to the insult and the depth of degradation. Example is Macbeth. And all Shakespearean tragedies or all Shakespearean major characters have a tragic flaw. It's a flaw which creates tragedy in the life of the protagonist. And that tragic flaw can also be called as hamartia and hubris. Hamlet has irresoluteness and procrastination. The Hamlet character flaw is irresoluteness or procrastination. He was not able to take proper decision and he used to postpone things. And Macbeth has vaulting ambition. He wanted to become the king. And Julius Caesar, which we are going to study today, he has the tragic flaw hubris, overconfidence, pride. So these are the 4 features of Shakespearean tragedy according to A.C. Bradley. Noble birth, a tragic hero, heights of glory to depths of degradation, and all these major characters has tragic flaws. And Shakespeare uses supernatural elements in his tragedies. For example, in the Hamlet, ghost father Hamlet, and in Macbeth also ghost appearance, all those things are the supernatural elements. When we use or when any writer uses these supernatural elements in an epic or in any kind of play, then we call it as a machinery, that we already discussed. And in Shakespeare plays, Shakespeare introduced comic relief in the tragedies. Gravedigger scene is in the Hamlet, Porter scene in the Macbeth, and the joking between Flavius and Morales in the Julius Caesar are the comic relief scenes in the Shakespearean tragedies. Then the Shakespearean characters or the Shakespearean heroes evokes sympathy among the audience, because it was not actually the character who wanted to do those things. It is because of some kind of weakness in the character or the tragic flaw. So sympathy, the characters gain sympathy among the audience. And then Shakespeare used soliloquies in his tragedies, and there is a conflict. Always there is a conflict within and without. That means the character struggles to arrive to a conclusion inside. Within his character only he'll fight, and then with the outside characters also, with the outside morals also, values also, persons also, the character have a conflict. So these 9 are the important features of a Shakespearean tragedy according to AC Bradley. They may give you a question, what are the Shakespearean tragedies, and they will give you 4. One among them may not be the Shakespearean tragedies feature. So we need to understand that. So as I introduced this Shakespearean, all this thing, the reason is you have lost touch with the literature part for at least quite a number of months for many of you, and quite a number of weeks for the students. So that's why I thought of beginning in this way. And in class we have completed already Hamlet. The video lesson was already posted to you, and then in one of the classes where nobody was there because of some kind of problem, so Macbeth also I taught to nobody in the classroom facing camera, and that was also recorded and shared in the classroom. So now today's topic is, today's class topic is Julius Caesar. Okay, so now we have come to the point. So what I am trying to tell you that for the Venkateshwar sir only, because others they know what is the technique we have been following in this English literature classes. Venkateshwar sir, we are going with the English literature with the help of the periods of English literature, so that if we complete the periods of English literature, automatically we will complete the everything about the English literature in a very clear cut manner. So this is the technique with which we are going to complete the syllabus of English literature.
Okay.
Venkateshwar sir?
Yes, okay sir.
Right.
I got it.
So now today's class is about Julius Caesar. Now we'll apply the same technique of Shakespearean tragedy features, and we'll try to find out whether all the Shakespearean tragedy features put forward by AC Bradley, can we apply those features or not. Then we'll go to the character sketch, mind map of the characters or the plot and story, and then we'll complete the act 1 to act 5, scene 1 to scene 5. The written notes is there, and then we'll go with the question answers practice in the classroom. So it will be very brief, because you understood and you know what is the story. My point is, my job is to just revise this syllabus and make you to practice more and more questions. So shall we start Julius Caesar, what do you call topic, Mr. Ghosh?
Yes sir, surely sir.
Right. So is there anybody who had not read about Julius Caesar in this class?
Sir, I read the story, but the whole full information is not in my mind. Maybe some incidents are there, some plots are there that I can't remember, even I forgotten, sir.
Okay. My question before I start the class is, Julius Caesar a historical figure or just a literary figure?
Historical figure.
Historical figure.
Historical figure, right. Any other information? What you know, you tell me first. Let me ask Danny ma'am. I'm audible, Danny ma'am?
Yes, sir.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir? Are you okay, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'm okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So, Danny ma'am, tell me, what did you remember? Because you already completed this entire English literature part. So, let me know what you could remember from the Julius Caesar story.
Yeah, so Julius Caesar, it's actually a play by Shakespeare, and there it's a titular character, and it is also a tragedy. Then some characters I remember from Julius Caesar is Brutus is there. Then what was it? Mark Antony is there. So some characters I remember. Then the plot actually in a continuous way I don't remember, sir.
That I'll do, ma'am. That I'll do. Okay. Now let us start this Shakespearean tragedy features. Noble birth. So if you apply noble birth, the Julius Caesar is also from a royal family. And who is the tragic hero of this play, Julius Caesar? It is Julius Caesar or Brutus. Who is the tragic character? Both. You can go with Julius Caesar also because of his excessive pride, and Brutus also in this story. And in examination point of view, if you get a question, who is the protagonist of the Julius Caesar play, then what would be your answer, Diksha?
So Julius Caesar only?
Deepthi?
Brutus.
Wait.
So I changed my answer.
Wait. Deepthi ma'am.
Sir, Brutus.
See, Julius Caesar character is central character, but the Brutus character can be taken as a not protagonist but anti-hero. You can go with anti-hero because Brutus is an honorable man, correct? Diksha.
Yes, sir. But sir, he was friend of Julius Caesar, but he was in the conspiracy in killing of killing Julius Caesar. No, sir. Then how come
he killed Julius Caesar not because he hated Julius Caesar, because he loved Rome more than Julius Caesar.
Sir, it's a misconception of that because someone has Cassius has provoked Brutus that he is going to ruin all the Rome because of his ruling kingdom. The people, democracy will lose in power. So to save the democracy, Brutus agreed with them and killed Julius Caesar.
Correct. So the protagonist of the story Julius Caesar is not Julius Caesar, it is Brutus. But in case if you don't get the option Brutus, then you can go with the Julius Caesar. But if you get the option Brutus, then you have to select Brutus. Now what is the third point? Heights of glory to depth of degradation. July 1300 BC and was stabbed. Julius Caesar was stabbed to death in Roman Senate on March 1544 BC. By the time he was killed, he had been appointed Rome's dictator for life and was the most powerful person in the Roman public. So this is a Julius Caesar is a historical play, or it is a historical character. And one more thing, this Julius Caesar play is also known as the translation play. What is it is known as? The translation play. These are all examination point of view important. Translation play. This Julius Caesar is also known as translation play, and Julius Caesar is a historical figure. And what is the tragic flaw in this character of Julius Caesar is hubris. Hubris means overconfidence or pride. Examinations, they will ask you what is the meaning of hubris. So it is overconfidence. And what are the supernatural elements used in this Julius Caesar? A terrible storm shakes the city. They thought that because Julius Caesar became the dictator of the Rome, that's why the terrible storm struck the city. So it is a supernatural belief. Warriors to do battle upon the clouds, blood rained down on Rome, a lioness gives birth in the city streets, graves have opened up and yielded up their dead, ghosts have appeared to shriek and squeal about the streets, and Calpurnia is terrified by these supernatural events. So these are the supernatural events used by Shakespeare in that tragedy Julius Caesar. And then what is the comic relief? The joking between Flavius and Murilus Julius Caesar. These are exam direct questions in your examination point of view. And Julius Caesar evokes sympathy or Brutus evokes sympathy in this play? Goshji.
Sir, I think it is Julius Caesar only.
Of course, but Brutus also evokes sympathy because Brutus is not a bad person. He killed Julius Caesar to protect the democracy in Rome. So both the characters evoke, but more Brutus character evokes sympathy among the audience. Okay. And
yes,
how did he die at the end? Can anybody tell me? Somebody killed Brutus or he killed himself?
He killed himself.
He killed himself. All right. And there are famous soliloquies. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me thy ears or your ears. It is found in Act 3, Scene 2. And this famous soliloquy is by Mark Antony. So Julius Caesar is a historical figure, starts from 44 BC to 42 BC. The city of Rome. It is Rome. It is known for republic. People fond or want democracy. And this play's source is Plutarch's Lives, translated by Thomas Nash. The source for Shakespeare to write Julius Caesar play is Plutarch's Lives, translated by Thomas North. Now let us come to the characters in this play. The central character, of course, is Julius Caesar, who was a Roman emperor. And then we have Brutus, a Roman senator, leader of the conspiracy against Julius Caesar. And Brutus' wife is Portia. And Julius Caesar's wife is Calpurnia, Caesar's wife. And then we can see here the soothsayer in the beginning of the story. We'll come to the story, that time I'll explain. The soothsayer is one of the characters. A fortune teller who tries to warn Julius Caesar of his fate thrice. How many times did he warn? Dipti ma'am?
2 times.
2 times or 3 times? First when he was coming to the Rome, and then when he was going to the court. Correct, 2 times, not 3 times. Then we have Mark Antony. He is a loyal friend to and supporter of Caesar, Mark Antony. And then Octavius Caesar, Julius Caesar's grandnephew and heir. And then we have Lepidus, a Roman general responsible for the reconciliation of Antony and Octavius. And we have Cassius. Who is this Cassius? A Roman concerned with the Caesar rise to power, leader of the conspiracy against Julius Caesar, Cassius. And then we have Cinna, a poet fatally confused with the Cinna, the conspirator. And these are the people: Casca, the conspirator with Brutus, and then Decius Brutus, a conspirator with Brutus, Cinna, Metellus Cimber, Trebonius, Caius Ligarius, I suppose the pronunciation, a conspirator with Brutus. In examination point of view, they will ask you a question: who is not a conspirator to kill Julius Caesar? And they will give you these 3 names, and they may give you another person like California or Octavius Caesar, Lepidus. So different characters also you need to remember. So this is the character sketch of Julius Caesar. Now let us go to the Act 1. Likewise, I'll read out, or I'll ask you to read, so that it will be easy for me also to explain the story. The main feature of the story is, if somebody becomes very powerful and if that person starts behaving like a dictator, then it will be a problem for the democracy. So that is the reason why the people in the Rome, or the conspirators in Julius Caesar's kingdom, killed Julius Caesar. So democracy is more important than the power having power in one single hand or in individual's hand. So let us first go with the Act 1, Scene 1. Diksha.
So, do I need to read it?
Yes, please.
The play opens with the citizens of Rome celebrating Caesar's victory in war. The tribunes Flavius and Marullus tell them off for reacting that way and taking a holiday to honor Caesar, telling them that he was not brought back any conquests or spoils, and that they are forgetting how much they used to love Pompey, the Roman leader who Caesar has defeated. The tribunes say to them, "And do you know, strew flowers in his way? That comes in triumph over Pompey's blood." Flavius suggests he and Marullus tear down the decorations from Caesar's statues, saying Caesar will soar above the view of men and keep us all in servile fearfulness.
Right. So the play opens with the citizens of Rome celebrating Caesar's victory in war. There are so many people who are very happy with the victory of Caesar, but there are few people like Cassius, there are nobles, they understood that if Caesar grow into the power, then there will be a problem with the democracy, because Rome is known for the republic. Rome people are known for this kind of republic values. So they don't want one person to control their lives. What happened next? Act 1, Scene.
Who are the tribunes and Flavius there? Who are the tribunes and Flavius there?
These are the characters. Where you are asking? Where is that one?
Flavius and
and Marullus. Flavius suggests he and Marullus tear down the decoration from the Caesar. So they are the people who were not happy with the Caesar becoming powerful.
Oh, the tribunes, the term tribunes are there. Tribunes, they are tribunes. Flavius and Marullus, they
The
are tribunes.
tribunes say to them, "And do you know strew flowers in Kvs Nvs?" Okay, you are asking about the characters, correct? If I could remember, it is Cassius who was telling all these things to them. There are people are part of tribunes. Can anybody tell who are those? I'm not able to recollect right now. The tribunes say to them, and do you know?
So Marius and Flavius, they were the tribunes, sir. In Act 1, Scene 1, the Act 1 and Scene 1 opens with their dialogue only. Marius and Flavius, or I guess, sir.
Right.
Yes, Flavius, sir.
Flavius. Goji?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Let us go to the Act 1, Scene 2. Preeti ma'am. Preeti, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Please read Act 1, Scene 2.
Okay, sir. Caesar arrives with his entourage, including his wife, Calphomia, and loyal friend Antony. A soothsayer in the crowd calls out a warning to Caesar, saying, "Beware the ideas of march." But Caesar dismisses it. The entourage then leaves to go to a ceremonial race, leaving Brutus, a trusted friend of Caesar's, and Cassius alone. Cassius begins to flatter Brutus, but Brutus is distracted by shouts he can hear coming from the race. He fears Caesar is being crowned king and accidentally voices this thought out loud. At this, Cassius begins to openly criticize Caesar, recalling times when Caesar showed physical weakness. Cassius reminds Brutus of his reputation and his concern for the good of Rome rather than personal triumph. Caesar and his entourage return after the race, and Caesar says to Antony that Cassius has a lean and hungry look. He thinks too much. Such men are dangerous, but Antony assures him that Cassius is noble. After Caesar leaves again, Casca tells Brutus and Cassius that Antony offered Caesar a crown 3 times at the race, but the Caesar refused it. Casca adds that Caesar fell down and foamed at the mouth, and Brutus confirms that Caesar has that falling sickness. He tells Cassius he will give his words thought. Left alone with the audience, Cassius points out how easily Brutus' novel nature can be manipulated.
Right. I'll explain this story. Remaining parts you can read by your own, because it will take a lot of time if I ask you to read each and every scene, but you have to read by yourself. I'll explain the story in simple way so that we can complete today's class and we can practice few questions. Now if you look at the story mind map or whatever it is called, Julius Caesar, when he returned home after a victory, people were very happy, but there are a group of nobles, there are a group of people who were against this kind of nature of Julius Caesar, and they believed that Julius Caesar would turn another dictator. And one among them who was a main conspirator was Cassius. So he was against Julius being the powerful person in the Rome, because Rome is a republic and people love their individuality and their freedom. Then when he was coming, a soothsayer also said that beware of Ides of March. Ides means 15th day of March. You can write down IDES. Ides means that is the 15th day of March. And Julius Caesar also found suspicious about the Cassius nature, because Julius Caesar told his friend Mark Antony that Cassius always thinks too much and such kind of people are very dangerous. When he came home next day, when he was about to go to the court, his wife also had a vision the previous night, dream in previous night, that Julius Caesar was killed. So she requested Julius Caesar not to go, and California cries 3 times and she says, "Thy murdered Julius Caesar." So California says this dialogue, "Thy murdered Julius Caesar," and California cries 3 times and requests Julius Caesar not to go to the court. And then, but Julius Caesar was also not interested, he was also worried about, but he was provoked. He was provoked by these conspirators, and when Julius Caesar went to court, he was stabbed to death. And who stabbed first? It was Casca, sorry. It was Casca who stabs first, and Brutus stabs last from the back. And the Brutus stab was described as the unkindest cut of all. Okay, and when Brutus fell, before falling down, Brutus says that et tu Brute, that means you too Brutus. And after the death of Julius Caesar, these conspirators, even Brutus was also involved. Brutus was not ready to kill Julius Caesar because he likes Julius Caesar, but he loves more Rome. That's why the reason why when Cassius persuaded them with the false letters, Julius Caesar agreed to kill Brutus agreed to kill Julius Caesar. When Julius Caesar was murdered and when the body was taken to the marketplace, then Brutus speaks first. So these conspirators made Brutus to speak in such a way that the commoners will believe what act they did was true. So Brutus speaks first, and he tried to convince people that they killed Julius Caesar not because they hate Julius Caesar, but they love the Rome most. Next, Antony was asked to speak. So Mark Antony speaks next, and it is also known as the funeral oration. And he speaks that Brutus is an honorable man, and he says that he good that men do of buried in the grave. So he praises Julius Caesar in such a way that the commoners or the normal people or the citizens of Rome, they became angry and they started or they want to attack these conspirators. So the conspirators fled away from the kingdom, and this Mark Antony with other people, Lepidus and Octavius Caesar, they become primitive or they become a group, and they attacked the conspirators. So Mark Antony on one side and Brutus on another side, they fought in a battle, and finally what happened, Cascus was killed, and finally at the end of the play, Brutus asked his servant to hold that knife and he commits suicide. So the story ends with the death of Brutus, and Mark Antony, Lepidus and Octavius Caesar, they regain the power and they start ruling the kingdom. So this is a small story or a brief story which I explained from my side, so that I can make you to understand Julius Caesar is a tragedy, and the main characters, who are the main characters? The Julius Caesar and as well as Brutus, both were dead at the end of the story. And in examination point of view, there are few questions we have to practice. Okay, so I suppose for the last batch students, I used to ask questions and they used to answer the questions, but now these techniques are little changed. Technically I have become little strong, so I have pasted some questions. We'll practice those questions, like maybe it will take 5-10 minutes, then we'll end this class. What I am trying to do is, I am not trying to explain the entire story of Julius Caesar act by act or scene by scene. It will be very difficult and it will take lot of time to explain the entire story, but the story is not important. What is important examination point of view? The characters are important, the relationship between characters are important, the incidents are important, and the dialogue spoken by the characters are important. For example, who is the wife of, what is the name of the wife of Brutus? Can anybody tell me? Wife of Brutus. Portia. If you see the character here, Portia is the wife of Brutus. And how did Portia die? Whether she commit suicide or it was a normal death?
Commit suicide.
Suicide. So these kind of questions in examination point of view are important. Whether you know the story or not, that is of course important, but the questions in examination point of view, if you solve, that would be very helpful for you. And I have already shared one video, animation video about the Julius Caesar, Hamlet, Macbeth and many other important plays. You can watch those plays and you can read by yourself. Let us go with the question answer session, so that you can find out how much you can recollect from your university days or college days. I'll start with Diksha. Diksha, can you read the first question?
Sure, sir. How does Caesar first enter the play? And options are: in disgrace, he has been captured; in defeat; in a triumphal procession, he has defeated the sons of his deceased rival Pompey; and in disguise.
What is
So the
answer?
option C, sir,
Right.
in a triumphal procession.
Right, correct. Next, Goji.
Yes, sir. What does the soothsayer say to Caesar? Be were the ideas of March. Never trust Cassius. Pursue the kingship. Your copy is on backward.
What is the
It will
answer?
be option A. Option A. Be were the ideas of March.
Right, good. Next question to Deepti ma'am.
What does Cassius first ask Brutus? What happened at the battle? Where his wife is? Why he has been so distant and contemplative lately? Whether he wants to be the king instead of Caesar.
What would be the answer? Deepti ma'am?
Whether he wants, what happened at the battle?
What about others?
So option C, why he has been so distant and contemplative lately.
Danny ma'am, Venkatesh sir, Preeti.
Same, sir. I also think
Maybe
option
what
C.
happened at the battle?
What happened at the battle? Okay, I will not answer. Find out the answer to the question. Let us go to the next question. It will
Sir,
be.
I think option C will be there.
You find out. If I leave some with some confusion, then only you feel interested to read and to find out which answer is correct. Whether option C is right or wrong, that at least you can find out. Next question, Venkatesh sir.
Yes, sir. What does Brutus submit to Cassius? That his wife is dead. That he and Antony have had an argument. That he thinks the Senate is doomed. That he fears the people want Caesar to be king. Option 4, sir. That he fears that people want Caesar to be king.
Right. What about others?
So option 4.
Option 4, sir.
Right. Okay. I will not mark which one is correct answer. After completion of general studies class also, you can go back and you can check which one. I will give the link. You can practice these questions in that link. Let us go to the next question, fifth one. It is to Danny ma'am.
Yes, sir. What does Anthony offer Caesar in the marketplace? A crown, a newspaper, the key to the city, a new chariot.
Antony offers something to Julius Caesar thrice, and thrice Julius Caesar refused.
I think it's the crown, sir.
What about others?
So the key to the city or a new chariot. I am confused between these two, sir.
The crown.
Goji,
the crown.
Preeti, Goji.
The crown, sir.
Sir, the crown.
Right. Okay. Next question to Preeti.
The night which of the following omens are seen? Dead men walking, lions strolling in the marketplace, lightning, all of the above. I think so, dead men walking.
Supernatural elements. Before the death of Julius Caesar, even the nature also showed something going to happen. So find out. I will not mark answers because if you find confusing, then only you will read. Otherwise, if your answers are given, then you will never read afterwards. Let us go to the next question. Starts with again Diksha.
What finally convinces Brutus to join the conspirators? Forged letters planted by Cassius, visit from the citizens, his intuition or omens. So forged letters planted by Cassius.
Right, direct answer it is. Next, Venkatesh sir.
She had nightmares about his death.
Why does California
One second, Venkatesh sir. Deepti ma'am.
She has had nightmares about his death.
It is about Brutus. What finally convinces Brutus to join conspirators?
Calpurnia had nightmares.
That is California, Julius Caesar's wife. It is about the Brutus. Why and how finally he got convinced to kill Julius Caesar.
Oh my god, which question for 7 to 1?
Right. Okay. Venkatesh sir, question number 8.
Why does California ceases to stay home rather than appear at the Senate? He travels too much. They have hardly seen each other lately. His grandchildren are coming to visit. He doesn't appear presentable enough. She has had nightmares about his death.
Right.
She had as nightmares about his death.
Right, correct. Next, Danny ma'am.
Yes, sir. Why does Caesar ignore Calpurnia's warnings? He is deaf in one ear and fails to hear her correctly. Decius convinces him that Calpurnia has interpreted the dream and omens incorrectly. He wants fresh air. He wants to humor the conspirators. I think option B, sir.
Option?
B.
Decius. So Decius convinces him that California has interpreted the dream and the omens incorrectly. Next question, Preeti.
What does? So what is that?
Artemidorus.
Artemidorus offers Caesar in the street. I don't know. A letter warning him about the conspiracy, a victory well, a new shield, or the crown. A letter warning him about the conspiracy.
Correct. Letter warning about the conspiracy. Okay. I suppose Deepa ma'am joined. Rajesh sir also joined. Let us quickly recapture it. There are few more questions are there. We'll do, or you have to do that one. What I did is in the first class, maybe after few months you all joined. So first 15-20 minutes we had a casual discussion. That is also correct because we need to get to know each other, what happened and all those things. So in this class, what I completed or what I just started in this class is about the Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar play is also known as the translation play. If I am not wrong, it is also known as the translation play. And Julius Caesar is a historical figure. And this entire play is centered in Rome. And Rome, the city of the Rome, is a republic or known as for the independence and republic of the people, free-minded, free will. And the Julius Caesar is the play where the main problem with the people of Rome is they don't want somebody to rule them. They want to rule by the people. It is like people only want to rule themselves. They don't want some dictator to rule them. When Julius Caesar became very powerful in the country, the conspirators, especially the Cassius, was not happy with this kind of trend or with this kind of system. So he persuaded Brutus and other people to kill Julius Caesar. And Julius Caesar, with his overwhelming or overconfidence and pride, though he knew that because he was warned by the soothsayer not to beware of the Ides of the March, but on the 15th of March he went to the court and Decius provoked him or persuaded him to go to the court, even though his wife California warned him thrice not to go to court. But he went and he was brutally stabbed by the conspirators, and Brutus was also involved and he stabbed him last. And when his dead body was carried to market, Brutus spoke first and then Mark Antony spoke, and he made the Romans to fight against or go against the conspirators. Then at the end of the story, what happened? Mark Antony with other people, they successfully regained the power and they started ruling the kingdom, or they started ruling the Rome. This is a simple story which I could explain within 1 hour. And then we practiced a few questions, and few more questions are there. This slide or this Google slide is always available to you. I have shared the link. Again, I will share the link to in the class WhatsApp. You can practice it and you have to complete this story. So one thing at the end of this English literature class, what I want to tell you that you need to read by yourself, or you need to revise this part by yourself, and then you have to practice a lot. And for the new Venkatesh sir and Ghoshji, you might have felt that I am not teaching this in the different method. Like I used to teach complete class and then only I used to ask you to practice. But why I am doing this thing? Diksha, Deepti and Danny ma'am and Preeti ma'am, they were from the first batch. So what they want after attending the first batch or completion of the course, what they want is too much explanation or elaborative way of explaining the story may not be useful in examination point. They want the story to be explained in a brief or in a nutshell and more number of questions to be given for practice, because that would be helpful for in examination point of view. So that is the reason why I have not explained the story in elaborative manner, but we started with the questions. So that is the reason why there is maybe you may find a difference or change in the way of explanation in this class. Did you notice that, Ghoshji?
Yes sir, yes sir.
So practice is more important. Storyline, talking about the character analysis, all those things were done in an elaborative manner in the first batch or in the previous classes. But those are actually, it will give you knowledge about the play, it will give you the psyche of the characters, but in examination point of view that might not be that much useful. So that's why I have not explained those things which I already explained to the previous batch students. So this is from my side. If you have any questions related to the Julius Caesar story, you can ask me. Otherwise we'll end this class and then again we'll join to the general studies class. Any questions?
No, sir.
Venkateshan sir?
No, sir.
Right. Ghoshji?
No sir.
But you need to read the story. You need to read at least the what you call the act 1, act 2 story, and then if you have any questions you can ask me in the next class. Okay?
Yes sir.
So we
Yes,
will end this class here. It is 7:10 from my side. I will again join within 2 minutes. So Deepa ma'am and Rajesh sir, again you have to log in with the same link, because this slide I am using actually Google Slides. So if I use Google Slides for